What's up, everybody? You're watching this on this Christmas Eve of 2022, and I would like to send out a very special shout out and a very special Christmas wish to Casey and his brother Cannon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys being fans, and I'm going to try to do something special for you guys tonight because this is something I wanted to do that I think would be fun. And my Sar-DOH video, if you guys have been fans of me for any amount of time, or anybody out there has been a fan of me for any amount of time, my Sar-DOH video was taken down because it had like a couple of minutes of one of the episodes in the video. So I'm going to redo a Sar-DOH video. It's going to be a brand new Sar-DOH video, and that's what we're going to do tonight. This one goes out to Casey and Cannon. Like I said, thank you both for, sticking with the channel, and I know I don't upload as regular as I should, but thank you guys so much for being fans. I appreciate it. Alright, so anybody that ever was a big fan of Are You Afraid of the Dark knows Sar-DOH. Now, Sar-DOH is my favorite character, and if kind of the basic synopsis of Sar-DOH was someone comes into his magic shop, they've got some kind of a problem going on, and Sar-DOH, who really doesn't believe in magic, right? He doesn't believe any of these things in his shop are actually real, or that they're actually going to do anything magical for anyone. He sells something to somebody, and he's like, oh, this item here came from ancient Babylon, and I'll sell it to you for $30. And of course they're like, Mr. Sar-DOH, that's too much. I can't afford that. And they get ready to leave, right? Well, Sar-DOH wants to make a buck, right? And he's like, 15? I distinctly said 15. They're like, well, I have 10. And he's like, sold! But I'm losing on the deal. Right? So that was kind of like what Sar-DOH did in his magic shop. And so I'm going to kind of touch base on all the episodes that he was ever in. He was in 7 original episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark. We won't go into too much detail. It's just a little fun thing to talk about because I love Sar-DOH. I enjoy Sar-DOH. And like I said, it's Christmas Eve, and let's just try to have some fun. The older I get, I think the more I'm becoming like Sar-DOH, where I'm that guy that believes in the paranormal and believes in magic. And I might accidentally get somebody in trouble without meaning to, and if they ever need my help, I would want to be the guy that would definitely be able to come in and help get them out of the trouble. So anyway, the first episode Sar-DOH was ever in was Tale of the Super Specs. Now, Tale of the Super Specs was about a kid named Weeds, weirdly enough, and his girlfriend. And Weeds did like a little magic trick in Sar-DOH's Magic Mansion on the Super Specs. And he used the dust of Denderon, which allowed his girlfriend, who was the one putting on the safety, the Super Specs, to see shadow people from different dimensions. Well, one thing leads to another, and they realize that, oh my God, our dimension's being taken over by another dimension. Who do we turn to? What do we do? Well, we go to the only, person we know that can fight these guys with magic. We got to go to Sar-DOH. So they go to Sar-DOH, and of course Sar-DOH doesn't know any actual magic, but he tries. He tries, and the end of the episode is very dark. It's one of the darkest endings in all of Are You Afraid of the Dark history, really. It ends with the parallel shadow people from another dimension conquering the earth because they had an actual powerful witch that was doing magic, trying to get them to other people to leave their dimension, right? Because they were slowly sliding into our dimension. And of course Sar-DOH didn't know any actual magic, so Sar-DOH lost. He couldn't fight this lady. So one of my favorite episodes. Also a very dark ending as well. Then Sar-DOH was also in the Tale of the Dark Dragon. Now this one involved a guy named Keith who had no confidence. He had been involved previously in a car accident, and it left him in a walking brace. So Keith goes to Sar-DOH's magic shop to buy a popularity potion. so he can find a date to the dance. However, Keith didn't understand that not only would the potion bring out his good side, he would first have to face his demons, his dark dragon, which is the name of the episode, right? So when Keith realizes he's used too much of the potion, it's bringing out this dark side of him, he returns to Sar-DOH's magic mansion for help. And Sar-DOH basically just tells him, like, I don't, I don't know. I don't know what you've done. I just know that you have to face your dark dragon. There's a very comedic scene as well in this episode where at the very beginning when Sar-DOH first sells Keith the potion to bring out his goodness, his good side, Keith drops the potion on this rabbit. And I believe the rabbit's name was Harold. I think that was his name. And it makes the rabbit look young and beautiful. So Keith leaves, not realizing that afterwards, after Keith had walked out the door, Harold turned into this monster because his dark dragon came out, right? I don't know what dark forces that rabbit was fighting against, but apparently it was something pretty bad. But it's hilarious because Sar-DOH comes out and he sees his rabbit has turned into a monster, and he's like, Harold! It was very funny. Then there's a tale of the carved stone, which is a good one. Allison is a new kid in town who has trouble making friends, and in order to make new friends, she goes to Sar-DOH's magic mansion, and she winds up buying an Egyptian friend stone. However, a dark monk also wants the stone and follows her through time to attempt to retrieve it. Now, thankfully, Sar-DOH shows up at Allison's house to warn Allison that the evil monk is after the stone, and and helps Allison and her friend from the past, because she time traveled into the past to meet this young kid from I think it was the early 1920s. But Sar-DOH winds up helping Allison and this young kid defeat the Dark Monk. That's actually one of my favorite Sar-DOH episodes because it's one of the very few times we actually see Sar-DOH leave the magic shop, and he goes to this girl's house and he's like, hey, look, this obviously Sar-DOH didn't know what this Egyptian friendship stone was. He was just trying to make $1, right? But once he realizes that Allison's actually in danger, and this crazy monk, this evil monk that's a time traveler, is trying to get the stone, Sar-DOH's like, oh my God, I've got to warn this girl. I've got to go out. So Sar-DOH is a good guy. He doesn't really mean anybody any harm. He's just out to make a quick buck. But I really thought that was cool that he would go out of his way to go to this girl's house, track this girl down, and be like, hey, look, you're in danger. This evil monk's after the stone that I sold you earlier today. And he helps the girl and the boy from the past defeat the Dark Monk. So that's a really good episode. Then, of course, Sar-DOH was in Cutler's Treasure, which Sar-DOH and Vink team up to help a kid named Rush save his brother from an evil pirate who wants a final battle. And this is a great episode because it's the only time we ever see Sar-DOH and Vink together on screen. Very cool. And I really like what Sar-DOH says at the end of the first part of the episode, because Cutler's Treasure is a two-parter. But Sar-DOH basically tells him, he's like, I don't know how to help you. He's like, but this Vink guy, he can. So Sar-DOH does care about this kid, and he's upset that his brother was taken too. He just doesn't know how to help him. Sar-DOH is kind of like this guy who's in a magical world, a magical realm, full of magical things in a magic shop, but he doesn't really know what any of them do, and I'm not really even sure he believes in magic. Although I'm sure that he does to an extent, because these magical things keep happening, and they keep being sold to his shop. So eventually you would think Sar-DOH would be like, I might want to be more careful about what I sell, but that's the running joke. Then Sar-DOH was in an episode called The Door Unlocked. Now, Justin, who lacks the confidence he needs, right, to ask a girl to the dance, goes to Sar-DOH's magic shop and finds a tiny wooden door that allows him to see the future. When he sees the girl of his dreams up in smoke, He does everything he can to try and stop this future from coming true, which leads Sar-DOH to save him and the girl in the end by opening the other door to the shop. Now, this episode is hilarious because the door unlocked. Turns out there was 2 doors. Sar-DOH was, well, actually, no, there were 3 doors. We just don't know what the third one did. The third one was never used, but there were 3 wooden doors. And then this kid comes in, and all these kids have a recurring theme. They don't have confidence. They lack confidence. So they go to Sar-DOH thinking that, oh, this is an adult. He's got his things together. He's got plenty of confidence, even though Sar-DOH doesn't have any more confidence than they have, right? But Sar-DOH sells them the items to give them confidence, and they always seem to get in trouble, which is hilarious. But in this one, it was really funny because Sar-DOH hears a knocking on the wooden door in his shop because there's a duplicate door, and Sar-DOH's looking around, and this kid's in trouble, right? And he's hearing him say, "Mr. Sar-DOH," because he's trying to save this girl from a fire. Spoiler alert, obviously. But Sar-DOH's looking around, and he doesn't see anybody in the magic shop, and he's like, "That's it. I'm changing my name. It's finally driven me insane." But then he realizes what's going on, and he opens the door, and here comes this girl and this kid who was able to save this the love of his life, I guess, if you will, is this girl that he had a crush on from burning to death in a fire. So I thought that was really cool. That was another example we get that Sar-DOH's a really good guy who just gets in weird situations. It was funny though because later on when the kid finds out that there's 2 of the same doors, it's funny because Sar-DOH's like, all right, because he says they're one of a kind because he's trying to sell the doors, right? Sar-DOH's like, these are one of a kind, and then the kid finds out that there's 2. He's like, Sar-DOH's like, all right, there's 2 of a kind. Sue me. It's pretty fucking hilarious. So the next one is the Tale of Oblivion. Now, Max, this is going to sound familiar to everybody. Max has always been one-upped by his smart sister. So Max goes to Sar-DOH's magic shop to find something for art class. Sar-DOH doesn't have a lot of art supplies. However, he does find a mystical piece of tin and some charcoal and an eraser. Now, Max uses the eraser in class and realizes that when he erases something, it disappears from real life. But where does it go? Max makes a dog disappear and even his own sister to a place called Oblivion. Now, Max must rescue himself, his sister, and Sar-DOH before Kronos, the Conqueror, puts an end to them permanently. This is a great episode because this is the only time we ever get to see Sar-DOH interact with a parent. And it's at the very end of the episode, spoiler alert again, the very end of the episode, and Sar-DOH has rescued these kids. And the mother shows up, and Sar-DOH's like, he tries to convince the mother that he was a piano teacher. Because she's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the piano teacher. And then he turns around and he walks out and he leaves and just leaves the kids to explain to their mom what happened. But another great example of Sar-DOH, once again, saving these kids' lives, saving Max and his little sister from Oblivion, from Kronos the Conqueror, which is an awesome name, by the way. Also, too, another funny thing in this as well, we get the classic bit of Sar-DOH trying to sell the tin box and the art. And, Sar-DOH's talking to this kid, and he's trying to sell this art stuff for like $30. And the kid's like, I don't have 30. And then Sar-DOH says, 10, I distinctly said 10. And then the kid pays 10. So, pretty hilarious. Also, too, when the kids first come in this episode, in the very beginning of the episode, it's hilarious because Sar-DOH says, well, you can find the most interesting of things in my shop. All you have to do is ask. And then there's an awkward silence, and Sar-DOH's like, go ahead, ask. So it was pretty funny. And then the last of the original series, the last episode Sar-DOH was in, is called The Tale of the Time Trap. Now, once again, same familiar story here. Guy, which is the character's name, lacks the confidence to ask a girl on a date and hides in Sar-DOH's magic mansion. As the girl he loves walks by, Sar-DOH convinces him to buy a Persian victory box. You gotta love some of these names. That allows you to grant wishes. However, little did he know the genie inside is actually evil and messes up every wish. So it's pretty funny because Guy actually winds up messing up time in the episode. Spoiler alert again. And then Sar-DOH is right there with him trying to help him, right? So they go to what was Guy's house, but this is an alternate timeline. So now they're in a completely the same house, but a different woman lives there. This is not Guy's mom. Perhaps Guy was never born in this timeline because he made a weird wish and time has been messed up. And it's hilarious because this lady comes in and she screams, and Sar-DOH's like, "Ah!" And he looks, but it's funny. And then she's like, "My husband's a cop," and then he just happens to come home. The cop comes home, and she runs out there, and then Sar-DOH and Guy are looking out the window, and Sar-DOH says, "At least there's only one of them." And as soon as he says that, a whole army of police come, and he was like, "That was fast." So yeah, great episodes. Sar-DOH, one of the greatest cinematic characters ever, especially in a children's show. And the older I get, the more I realize that I am kind of like Sar-DOH in a lot of ways. I try to be a good guy, and if I ever got someone in some kind of a magic, trouble or something like that, I would definitely want to go and help them out and save them. And I might not know everything about magic, but I am pretty educated on the paranormal. I am kind of educated in magical things, so I would definitely go and try to help them out. Just don't ask me to go against any kind of, magic witch from another dimension, because I don't know that much about magic, and we might be losing on the deal, right? If I'm going up against a magic witch. But I'll still try to help you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you you love Sar-DOH just as much as I do. This was a great episode. Thank everybody for watching, and once again, thank you so much, Casey and Cannon, for watching. I appreciate you guys watching my channel. It means more to me than you know. It really touches my heart that this channel's been going strong for 11 years, and I've had my ups and downs, and I upload as much as I can, and the people that watch these videos enjoy them, and I'm glad that they enjoy them. So I love all of you very much. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas Eve, peace, love. I love you all. Have a great day, and remember, I'm losing on the deal.